Jonathan Hedden is, hey, y'all might get mad at me. Valdosta's in Florida.
It's right there.
Valdosta's in Florida. Valdosta is closer to any Florida show than anybody else. So Valdosta's with us.
Okay, please, look now, Shamari, don't start that because you know Georgia going to start. Well, he's in Georgia. I don't feel like hearing GSL again. Then I really won't be invited to the Jamboree.
Whoa, whoa, do it 'cause you can. Whoa, 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 do it with your fam. Whoa, 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 do it in the stand. Whoa, 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 show it to a fan.
All right, welcome to another edition of the Step Exchange. I had to go back down to Jacksonville, Florida, where they say Duval. You know, so you know what? That's fine. I'm gonna let you have that because Duval came up to Charlotte and tore my show up. So I'm gonna let you have that. All right, but we have no other. This man need no introduction. Coach Shamari, how you doing today, Coach Shamari?
I'm doing well, man. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Got a little tongue twisted up here this morning because you know I'm ready to hear what you got to say. All right, I'm ready to hear this. All right,
yes,
all right. So before we get into this conversation with Coach Shamari, I'm going to play a step team. You all know the step team from Charlotte, North Carolina. Everybody, check out X Factor.
Everything that you can take from us is taken up. We're trapped in the room. You know what to do. Just sit back and watch someone represent you.
Come on!
We are back. I had to play the video of my team. If you have one word to describe your coaching style, what would that one word be?
Coach. That's coach.
Coach.
That's
There we go.
It's coach. So yeah.
Okay. Now, another question for you. Do you feel your team is underrated at times?
So, in my opinion, if I say yes, I think that's me being biased because I do feel like they're underrated, but I'm going to speak from a general sense.
Okay.
Generally, everybody's going to have their opinion. Everybody has a lot of other things that everybody also has, just generally. Take with that what you may, draw whatever kind of picture y'all want. But everybody has a lot of everything. And when it comes to anybody saying, oh, well, they don't do this or they don't do that, okay, and you don't do this and you don't do that, and I'm not bothering y'all about it. For example, like people may try to pick on your team and say, oh, well, they're not precise. That's not the lane Vincent wants them to be in, and he's very transparent about that. Shamar, your boys don't have no energy. Do you know I coach precision more than anything else because that's what I care about? But the running of y'all mouths that y'all been doing and y'all finna have to see my boys, that's y'all fault because that's what y'all asked for. You know, it's just like when they get to see them this year, it'll probably be a couple of weeks past now, but the fact that they got to see them a couple of weeks ago in Lakeland, I'm confident they're going to perform well. They've rehearsed better than I have, in my opinion. I've seen my guys rehearse under my tutelage since I've been coaching, and that's all going on my 5th year. Because I consider myself a younger coach compared to the stalwarts in the game, like your Marlins, your Randalls, your Richards, your Corey and Kietas. Like they've been in the game 10 plus years, and I've only been in the game 5. So you know, do I think we're underrated? Nah, because when I look at where everybody else was on year 5. We didn't hit past y'all's year 5 marks. So are we underrated in comparison to where some of y'all are? Yes, to where you are now. Where were you at year 5? Where are we at year 5? Are you here? No. So who is really underrated?
Oh my God! All right, wait. You okay?
Well,
that's the part I want you to use. Use that part.
Oh, I am. Oh, trust me, I am. Oh, I am. And you go ahead.
I think that's the best thing to say because, and to answer your question, are we underrated? No, because when you look at where a lot of the great teams of those great coaches, phenomenal coaches, whom have my respect and my guys' respect are, where they were on year 5 and where we are in year 5 is not the same place. So, you know, we've had to compete against y'all before we got to year 5. And I think when you look at certain things like where my guys were at USTEP our first year, like the boys division from first to last, it was a 32-point difference. Important note, like our scores in the boys division, the lowest score was higher than the co-ed team's first or second place score. So, you know, like when we talk about competitive divisions.
I mean, no, you're right. You're right. And let's go back to this precision thing. People know I really don't care. And I tell people all the time, right. I don't coach the team for the judges. I coach the team for the crowd. Because at the end of the day, the crowd is who's coming to see us. I beat teams that were more precise to me.
Right.
You know, the trophy's at my house. That says national champions. All right. So
you know what to do. Just sit back and watch someone gonna get you. Go on. Go on and stop them.
I mean, it is what it is. All right.
Yes, sir.
You know, so hey, you know, somebody like it. But here we go. And I ain't trying to be funny into that, but I can get more than 10 people on the team. All right, here we go. With my precision not being so great. More than 20, more than 30, more than 40. All right, here we go. All right, I'm reading my questions from my phone. All right, we set the foundation. Let's go ahead and jump into these hot topics. All right, but before we get to these hot topics, I'm going to see one more team coming from Kentucky. Everybody check out Malone Step and Dance. And we are back. All right, Coach Shamari, go ahead. I mean, we ready to got started with these hot topics already. I mean, you ready to set the foundation already. So let's just jump right in. Question number 1. Oh, Lord. The Florida style.
Oh,
a lot of people. Yes, a lot of people say Florida teams look alike. You know who the teams are that look alike. So hold on, let me just name
about teams.
Go ahead. Hold on, Shamari. Let me name No, you're fine. Let me name the teams first.
Okay, because I was gonna talk about the ones that don't look alike first.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think what I really want to start with is you have a lot of great programs and a lot of great teams. And I think about the Dillard team. I think about the Impact team. I saw them once. They're from not Plantation. Mr. Pinckney's from Plantation. They're from Piper. Okay. I think about the Distinguished Young Gentleman from Tallahassee and a few others. I think about the Divas of Fidelity, one of my favorite girls who are just traditional to being traditionalist steppers, and they not changing, they in their zone and they do what they do. So big ups to the home girls team for Jacksonville. But they all do their thing and their show structures are always pretty great. Their teams are always pretty great. And then I know you want to mention, go ahead and give me the teams that you think look alike.
I'm not saying I said they look alike.
Okay, not you. Let me not say you. Not you, because you didn't say it. I'll say it because I know who they say look alike.
Right, because you know people just waiting for me to throw shade at somebody.
They say Jax Gents and the Lamplighters and TBS and Sweetheart Nation.
So why? Why is there the similarity?
Fun fact.
There's one word I'm waiting for you to say. It's a name. I'm waiting for
Rampage.
Say it one more time for the people.
Rampage Step Team. The indomitable Rampage Step Team. The indomitable Rampage Step Team. I'm going to start just with the coaches of us four first. So you have Randall, Terrence, Cheese, Kieta, myself. All of us have stepped together at some point. All of us have done something creative for Rampage at some point. All of us have been cultured or either recultured by Rampage at some point. So that's where our foundation comes from. That's where our tutelage began from a secondary coach, from a post-high school coaching level, and learning level. So you can't think that people whose foundations aren't the same aren't going to be similar. That's like saying you're going to go into a brand new subdivision who every house was built by the same home company, and every house is going to be different. The houses aren't going to be different until people start to add extra things on them. Right. So now that we say to add extra things on them, Terrence adds that Omega flair to his style. Randall is very creative in his themes. I'm very edgy in my steps. Kieta is whoa, right. So, it's just, you have those things. So before you make those assessments, we could easily make the assessments of other areas who look very much alike because they're geared to the same judge sheet, and everything they do is about, are you doing this on this judge sheet? Are you doing that on that judge sheet? And then it's a judge sheet that doesn't translate to any of the national shows. So why is it a thing that teams from other areas have to do? Like, you come to a Florida show, you're getting judged to a traditional judge sheet. You're probably gonna get 10 points in their category. You're gonna get straight definitions. And that's why other teams can come to Florida and compete. Not because they're just better than us. I believe we're a more fair state than most. So that's about the Florida style and Florida State.
Okay, all right, I'll take that.
And it's one thing I didn't say.
People
forget to give Hugh Henry the credit he deserves. Like, anytime I talk to Hubert, and it's been a few months, but anytime I talk to him, I'm so far disconnected. And by the time we get off the phone, it's a resolution to my problem. So shout out to Hugh. Shout out to Hugh.
Yes, I'm trying to get him on here. He's coming on here. He's going to get on here one day. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get him on here. All right, next up, coaching an all-male team. We know how all males get if you go to football games, basketball games, especially high school boys. It can get intense because we're training them to go hit that stage. Shows can get intense. Has there ever been a time that your boys maybe had to overcome getting physical with another team, or just has it just been a time where they just let loose? A lesson learned, a lesson learned afterwards. But
I'm gonna say this. My guys are very energetic because their coach is very energetic, and their coach is very timid when it comes to handling a situation to the lengths in which I know I can. Because when I realize my guys are watching me at any moment, I do my best to be my best. One thing I've always taught anybody's child who I've been with is you can take so much and you can recreate so many situations, and your reputation is all you're going to have to go off of. So when lessons present themselves for you, you come back more resilient after you learn that lesson. You come back and you represent your reputation. And I think that's the story for us. Anytime we've ever had a situation that could have went one way or did go one way or whatever, we were very good at making certain we created some kind of amends and had some kind of conversation. Because if kids are going to get into conflict, they're kids.
Right.
So if we as coaches allow it, and if we in our practices are mentioning John Doe Step Team and Sally Langston Step Team, I like Scandal, and Cyrus Bing Step Team, like you can only expect for your kids to, when they see Sally Langston, John Doe, and Cyrus Bing, to coach, the seeds you plant in your practice can come to fruition. Outside of that, the seeds you don't plant in your practice and that kids cause on their own on social media without knowledge of the coach can also come to fruition. So as a coach, we have to get more engaged into what our kids are doing and to who they're communicating with on other teams. Like during show weeks, like, hey, y'all talk to anybody from any other teams? Y'all good with everybody? Like, y'all know they coming. Y'all know they coming. Not for competition reasons, but we got to have a bit more camaraderie within what we do versus not. I tell you this, some of my guys, the Lamplighters and the Distinguished Young Gentlemen, are classmates at Florida A&M right now, taking classes together and doing group projects together.
Right.
So I believe that's probably the greatest testament of the Florida boys. If you think Florida and you think Florida boys, you think Jax Gents, Omega Lamplighters, DYG. We're the first high school boys teams that come to name. So yeah, that's that question. Yeah.
All right, yeah, I mean, and I'm glad you answered that because, boys are boys. And I know, especially coaching boys teams like yours and GOV, it's intense. I'm just like, I know you get that, I want to win. And when you want to win so bad and you don't, it's just like, ooh, we see it on the football field. It happens all the time. So I'm glad you answered that question. I'm glad you did. It made a lot of sense. All right, next question here. Going to a step show that is from a show promoter versus going to a step show that is hosted by a step team. Which would you rather do?
Really want to make certain is, if I'm coming to your show, you got a couple prizes, great. Are you giving out any scholarships to any of these seniors? Because these seniors are going somewhere else.
Right.
These seniors are not going to be stepping on a high school team the next time they step, if they step again. So what will they remember from their step experience from coming to your show?
Right.
Did they at least have the opportunity to try to get a scholarship at your show?
Right.
No, seeing none. So if we decide to move on to somebody else's show to go do something else, then show promoters can't be upset. I think you have to look at the lens of what is the show promoter doing for the team and the step community. The step community first. And if it's good stuff being done for the step community, then great. If it's not good things being done for the step community, then a lot of these show promoters are going to be really upset when one of us goes into retirement and does a promoter show the right way. A lot of them will be upset if a few of us go into retirement in regional areas and really come up with a way to host a United States step show that can be geared to seem more fair for kids. I think one thing I think show promoters should go to different lengths than teams do at their show. For example, it's nobody's business how big anybody's team is.
Oh my God.
But at the same time, if I have a middle school team with 5 kids on it and I want to take them somewhere and they pour their hard sweat and tears on stage, I don't think it's wrong for there to be a division of 15 less than 16 more.
Right.
And it doesn't need to be titled major or minor, big team, small team.
Because honestly, North Carolina, we were going to do it this year, but COVID stopped it. We had middle school division,
that makes sense,
large
man.
group. We had large group and small. Yeah.
So, I think that would definitely clear up the conversation of what team is what size. And I think that would definitely help the judges dictate, well, I'm not going to judge the smaller team harder because they're smaller. I'm going to judge them just as equal as I would judge this big team.
Right.
And that way scores can really balance more. And then was it a small team champion this year or was it a big team overall champion this year? But either way, they still had a chance to be a divisional champion. You think about state football, we have 8 divisions of state football.
Right.
Like my brother, they're in the playoffs right now. He's a 7A school. A 7A school means it's like 2,500, 700 kids there. So understanding that we do that for football and we do it for cheerleading. Some people say cheerleading is a sport. Some people say cheerleading is not a sport, but we do it for all of those things. Why can't we consider it? That's a conversation that should be had. I know I've had it with different step promoters I won't name, but they weren't forthcoming with it. Answer that question. I would prefer to go to a show that I know is going to be fair. So it's some team shows I'm just never going back to because y'all played in my face. Y'all took me on the road to go 5 hours away from my city, to go to the capital of another state, one that's very close. And I didn't feel like it was a fair show.
A lot of people out here, like you said, running, sledding, just enjoying it. One thing, oops, that can happen, unfortunately. Looks like Chelsea's okay. You okay? Yes, okay.
It's no reason I could beat a team everywhere but one place. If I beat somebody everywhere but one place, and it's no slight to anybody, when I'm begged to come to a team show and somebody says, well, we really want you here, we've been trying to get you here, and then teams don't even return the favor and come back to yours. I mean, I don't need teams to come to my show to beg them. Everybody who comes to my show, I go to theirs. And is it tit for tat? No, it's I'll support you because you support me. And if I say I'm going to this many team shows, it's like it's no reason that judges from shows I go to, who I don't solicit, who run Sprite step-offs and stuff like that. Oh, y'all were supposed to be in second. What? How does this work? So, it is what it is. Like, my concern was totally somewhere else because that was the first time we had seen some of our state rivals. So my concern was just communicating with those coaches and having our in-state relationship out of state. Right. And again, when we've beaten teams everywhere but there, wherever there is, it sits bad with me. So
I understand. And if any show promoters watching, we're not calling out any shows.
No, what we're doing is, and I appreciate your platform because it gives us a chance to give constructive criticisms.
Right.
None of this is to hurt anybody. None of this is to bash anybody, at least for me. And I think what I've seen on here from your first couple shows or your first segments, everything has been done to be conducive to the environment.
Right.
So if anybody got in their feelings behind anything I said, I apologize for how you received it, because it wasn't sent for that. But what we got to be clear of is when we're telling people to come somewhere, if you ask me to come to your show, I want this to really be shown. If you ask me to come to your show, my kids not being ready is not going to be why I say no, especially if you supported me. Because we find ways to get our kids ready for Stomp Wars. We find ways to get our kids ready for U-Step. And we find ways to get our kids ready for any other national show. Right. I found ways to get my kids ready for those things.
Yeah.
So if it's somebody who, like whether it was we didn't have the money, whether it was we didn't have the other kind of resources, or something just wasn't coming through, I found ways to make my guys ready.
Well, let me tell you this. I need you to be ready to come to Charlotte. I done told you this before on Instagram. If you don't come, I'm fighting you, the whole team, everybody on site.
Well, you know, Jax Gents don't fight.
No, you don't fight.
I ain't gonna say my kids can't fight, but Jax Gents don't fight. Jax Gents don't fight. Don't fight. Not can't fight. Don't fight.
Don't fight. Don't fight.
Yeah, they don't fight.
That's fine. Then they just be getting beat up that day because I'm hitting everybody on site. No,
but if you hit them first, they will do it.
They will. Right. Because your boys look like they will slam you quick. Just boom, so it's all good. It's all good. It's the food.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what y'all eating in Jacksonville, but it's the food. No, it's all good. All right, well, I do appreciate that because
our coaches coaching y'all. For the kids who watching, none of us do this for y'all to be great steppers. And if your coach is doing it for you to be a great stepper only, I'm saying this, not Mr. Benson. That coach is not for you if all they care about is step. Y'all will get that on Monday when you're driving to work.
I'm about to have a moment. Come on. Woo! All right. Yeah. Y'all from Florida. Y'all people in Florida be preaching. Randall is out here. Now you, oh, man. People say at a step show, you do too much when your team is performing. They think you should stand there and basically be quiet. Explain. Talk about that. They say you do too much.
Okay. I had to let y'all see that behind me. And if I don't do too much for them, y'all won't do enough for them. If you don't do too much for your team, ain't nobody else gonna do enough for them. What I do for my team matches my personality that I do for my team in real life.
Right.
So I'm not saying anybody else doesn't do for their kids, but I do for my kids beyond step team, beyond community service. My kids get mentored. My kids get real life stuff in step practice to take to real life and apply it and tell me about it. So if I'm doing too much for you, you ain't doing enough for me. I can count on a few fingers the coaches that have came to my practices and invested in my kids, the coaches that have sent me funds to invest in my kids, the coaches that have sent me voiceovers, music, strolls, videos, ideas for my kids. I can count on a hand. And if you're not one of those 5 people, I'm not even checking for your opinion.
I mean, it's funny because, videos of me, I go in for my team. And Memphis used to always hit me up and say, there you go, you and Shamari again. I'm like, so.
He called me one day, he said, and I'm gonna sound like my dog. He said, "Boo." I said, what? I don't know who worse. What you talking about, Memphis? What you talking about? Between you and that Benson, y'all just get on the sideline and just y'all just. I like, bro. When you be on the sideline talking about let's go from the sideline and you be behind the curtains, let's go. I can go rest my brother's soul, rest in heaven, Memphis. Your birthday coming up, big bro. Dog, you did too much too.
Right. I'm gonna say this. What I know I'll do for Jax Gents, what I know you'll do for X Factor, and what I know he'll do for MOD. It's like all the time. This at practice, I'm loud, I'm over the top, and I'm the biggest fan. Well, so we're talking about Memphis. Shamar, go ahead and talk about Memphis, man. You know, y'all are really cool, really close. Talk about Memphis, his contributions, him the friend, the brother. I just got chills, and that is one of my closest
colleagues, friends, brothers that I was able to make in this on that platform. From his investments in my team with his time and his talent, to his advisory investments to me professionally and personally. To seeing the things he would do for others, and to know that he just cared. It was a lot to know that he was lost. He and I communicated frequently. Then it was just like a punch in the wall stop. Like you hit your face on a brick wall that was like invisible, was how we stopped communicating. And I continued to call, check in on him, try to see what was going on. And I got a phone call from Jonathan Valdosta. And before I could even answer the phone, I said, okay, it happened, and I need to answer the phone and accept it.
Yeah.
And when I answered the phone, I don't remember if Jonathan said, are you sitting down? Or if he said, where are you? But I know, are you sitting down was said. I don't know if that was first or, and I said, just go ahead and tell me, because I don't even remember what else I said after that, because it was just such like it's still surreal. So that's my dog. I feel for the MOD community.
Right.
And yeah, that's all I could say for now, and keep myself together for real.
No, I understand. I was over here getting emotional.
I probably wouldn't be able to stay together. So respectfully, I want to stop there. Shoot, I didn't know I was gonna get that full. Jesus.
No, you're good. You're good. I was over here. I was holding myself together. I mean, I understand. I do appreciate you talking about that. I do. I really, really do. All right. And at the end of this episode, please keep on the lookout, because I have a tribute that's going to be played for our brother Memphis. So keep watching. Keep watching. All right. All right, Coach Shamar, here we go. We got some little fun games for you right here. All right. We all know we just had an election. All right. And we all know when you vote for who you voted for, let's go ahead and just 45, or you voted for Biden. If you voted Republican, whoever got the most votes, that state is considered to be red. If the Democrats got the most votes, that state considered to be blue. I'm gonna bring that to step. I'm gonna say a state, and whatever team name comes to your mind when I say that state, that's gonna be the color of that state. All right. So here we go. First state, the first team that comes to your mind: New York.
Organized chaos.
Organized chaos. All right, we color in New York with organized chaos. Next up, Virginia.
Icons.
Icons. All right, we're coloring Virginia with icons. Here we go. Oh, Lord. Missouri. Now you act like Missouri got 5 million teams.
I mean, Missouri has GOV, YGOV, Iconic, Platinum Elite, Supreme Royalty, and no slight to Missouri. They may say they have this Missouri style, but can't nobody do their style how they do it.
No, they can't.
But I'm gonna say because of their resume, GOV. If it was for my personal, it would be Iconic, Coach Brandy. Because of their resume, GOV, but Iconic, that Stomp Wars 2018 year.
State, Kentucky.
Collaboration.
All right. North Carolina.
Hype.
Yes. All right. Florida. I'm about to say that should have been the quickest one of them all. We're gonna do it again.
It was me trying to be humble, but Jax Gents.
All right. Texas.
Yeah. MOD.
Nevada. I'm just
Nevada.
There is a team in Nevada. I got them coming on.
Nevada. Yeah. The Nevada High School Step Team.
All right. We're gonna do one for Coach Victor. Wyoming.
El Camino Real. No, El Camino Real is California. My bad.
Yes, yeah. For Coach Victor, Wyoming. Tennessee.
I'm sure there's a team in Knoxville. Oh, the Lamplighters. I'm sure some Lamplighters in Tennessee. Roy did a good thing when he did what he did. So I'm sure some Lamplighters up there, and I'm sure they probably look well stepping. So
okay, let's do one more. This Stomp Wars, U-Step USA, Sprite, Disney World, all these, World of Step, all of them are mixed together. You need a super team, and your super team consists of, you can't use your own team. Your super team consists of a high school all boys, a high school all girls, a high school co-ed, a middle school team, and an elementary school team. Who is your super team that you take it to nationals? You can't use Jax Gents.
Okay. The elementary school team is going to be Hype 3G.
It's they everybody. They're the most talked about team on all the videos. So yeah.
Yeah, Hype 3G. The middle school team, middle school boys, girls, co-ed, or just a middle school team?
Just any middle school team.
Okay, since I couldn't pick my boys, I'm gonna pick 904 Blitz. They feed up to me, so that's just as good as picking my boys, in my opinion. Those are Coach T's boys and Jax Gents are my boys. We definitely help each other out more than most people know. And that's little bro all day. So definitely 904 Blitz. For high school girls, because I stayed in the city for middle school, I'm gonna travel down to Lakeland. And I'm going to pick my good homegirl and my good homeboy Corey's program. The lovely ladies are taken by surprise. And honestly, if I had to do a high school boys team, if I was going with somebody if I was going to go with the expected option, I would say the Raider boys. If I was going to go with the unexpected option, the team that I think we hit each other's Achilles heels enough, and I respect this coach a lot too, it'll be the Icons.
You did co-ed?
Co-ed. Okay. That's hard. Because the Florida boy in me wants to go Dillard. The Florida boy in me wants to go Dillard.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because I know like Dillard kids just know a certain level of, let me put my show together before Coach Brody do, or let me help Coach Brody with this, or Coach Brody, what about this? And the way I hear their kids interact, when I hear Brody say, my kids did this or my kids did that in 2 days. So because of how they'll move with time, I like that for them. Valdosta.
I mean, everybody like Jonathan. I told Jonathan, I don't know if I told him, but Jonathan is like the most famous co-ed team in the world right now, that everybody has said his team. That's what's I love that team.
At Valdosta. And Royal Diamonds, I would like to say chaotic, but I haven't seen them co-ed in the full show yet. So I'm excited to see them co-ed in the full show at TBS's showcase in a few weeks. But I would have to say, if I were speaking about if I had to pick one team, I'm gonna say all of the other 3 that I named are my number 2. But I'm gonna go ahead and rock out with Valdosta. Something heading is, hey, y'all might get mad at me. Valdosta's in Florida.
It's right there.
Valdosta's in Florida. Valdosta is closer to any Florida show than anybody else. So Valdosta's with us.
Okay, please, look now, Shamar, we don't start that, because you know Georgia going to start. Well, he's in Georgia. I don't feel like hearing GSL again. Then I really won't be invited to the Jamboree.
They already said you weren't coming.
No, they didn't want. Right, they don't want me to win the Ripple category, but that's all right. I'm coming. I'm gonna sneak up on them and Ripple the whole show.
Ripple category 1, man. One thing I'm gonna say to everybody, like, ride for your state at the very least.
Oh yeah.
Like, those folks, when you see them at nationals, for those guys who haven't been yet, or for those guys who haven't been and seen other teams, it is so warm to see TBS sweethearts and to know YKH is in the city. And we're working on a special project in Florida, and I can let folks know we have about 26 teams that, like, I can call a coach for.
Okay.
That has kids. So, like, we working on some stuff here too. Y'all coaches, be strong enough to build a league in your state with coaches. We don't need anybody to tell us what to do, because when we can create rules and follow them ourselves and govern ourselves democratically without anybody having to say this or anybody having to say that, or anybody's feelings going this way or going that way. And if a team starts to win all the time, don't change the judge sheet, change what you're doing to start to win more. It's like, y'all, we just got to get a better concept of unity. We got to get that better. So, like, when Corey, mentioned it wasn't going to be a competition, my kids was like, oh, we want to compete. Then they realized, oh, we get to go to step shows and other kids don't.
Right.
So we just, hey, let's go, let's just step for whatever.
Right, because clearly we're sitting up here still like we were in March. Like, we don't call ours a league, we call it a circuit. All right. His name is Mr. Richard, and he does shows starting from November all the way to the state championship that's in the beginning of May. The beginning of April, all the way down to Battle of the Borders is in May. This is a step show at least once a month with his circus step show in North Carolina. Then the teams have the step show, and what I think I posted on Instagram, we had a step show in North Carolina every single weekend from February all the way down to May, and we only missed one weekend because a lot of North Carolina teams go to Icon show. So, and Icons, they come down to a lot of Mr. Richard shows as well. So, it's right there. So, we had a show every week, but yeah, it's a circuit show, and we do the state championship, Battle of the Borders, all that stuff. So yeah, we do that. A lot of people don't know that, but Mr. Richard gives out a lot of trophies. He opens a step team to step shows, and he does it in different cities. So I tell people, if you live in Charlotte and you got to go here, there, and there, you can say you're a traveling team because you got to leave your city and go to different cities in the state, because some teams don't get to leave the state like that. So he opens the doors for them to have that. And I take my hats off to Mr. Richard because it's an awesome program. Step for Success. I call it North Carolina Circuit Shows. So yeah. What you're doing, sir. You already know I'm a fan of your team. Everybody knows that. So I'm a fan of your team. So continue to just be you.
I appreciate that.
No problem. No problem. Thank everybody for watching this edition of the Step Exchange. Please continue to watch, because I do have a tribute for Brother Memphis after this. I am Coach B, and everything you need to know, want to know, and must know about the step world is going to come from me.